Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. My name is Bill Horan and I'm here along with my co-host, Stacy Raine.
Bill, today we're going to learn about the Long Island Community Foundation, an organization that works to improve the quality of life for all Long Islanders by connecting past, present, and future generations with other nonprofits on Long Island to make a healthy, equitable, and thriving community.
That's right, Stacy, and I'd like to welcome to our show Marie Smith, the Director of Donor Relations and Communications, and Sol Marie Alfonso Jones, their Program Director of the Long Island Community Foundation. Marie and Sol Marie, welcome to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Thank you for having us. So happy to be here.
Now, the Long Island Community Foundation has one of those names that it could be almost anything. So tell us a little bit about the background so we know what we're talking about.
So we are the Islands Community Foundation. There's about 700 to 800 community foundations across the nation. Some as big as they cover one state. Some of them will cover just a county. So we are part of the New York Community Trust. And the New York Community Trust, we support about 11.5 million constituents in New York. So there's the New York Community Trust supports the New York City 5 boroughs. We have a Westchester affiliate, and then we're the Long Island affiliate supporting 3 million Long Islanders.
And what kind of projects, just to give an overview, would you be involved in?
We are a community foundation that helps donors give money to nonprofits. So we help connect those that want to give to those that are in need. That's pretty much the basis of what we do. So we do that in a number of different ways by offering various funds that they can open up with us and we manage financially for them, and as well as connect them to nonprofits. And then nonprofits also can apply to our grant making program where they compete for dollars that we have based on permanent funds left by people who wanted to, leave money to good causes, and we manage that for them. So we're stewards of their money as well as grant makers for the region.
And I know from your website, we were talking before, you're talking a lot of money. We're not talking about nickels, dimes, and dollars in little containers. There were a lot of zeros on that website, right? Yeah.
I mean, well, since we were started through the New York Community Trust in 1978, the New York Community Trust has been around since 1924. We're actually celebrating our 100th anniversary this year. But since then, since 78, we have given over $250 million to Long Island.
B with a billion, you said.
B with a billion, yeah.
These are the friends we like.
Last year, I believe we gave over, between our donors and our grant-making program, we gave over $7 million.
Wow.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, not only is it helping, but numbers like that are amazing. We've had people on the show. We're usually talking in thousands, maybe tens of that, which is great. But the kind of numbers you're talking about is just amazing.
Well, it's a lot of donors. We have a lot of donors that we work with, and we wouldn't be able to do it without them.
And you must be doing a good job.
The ones who have passed and the ones who are alive.
There we go.
So I'm curious. We want to learn a little bit about you too. How did you get involved with the Long Island Community Foundation? We'll start with Marie. Yeah.
Well, it's not a job that you just go to college for and then, you graduate kind of thing. So I got involved in, actually I started my philanthropy in corporate philanthropy in the utility business. And it just grew from there. And then, you meet people along the way, and then you find colleagues that got in touch, and somebody that, my boss today, David O'Corn, is now, he's been our executive director for over 15 years. So I knew him in a past life with the utility company, and that's how I got involved in this. But philanthropy has always been a huge part of my life, even from growing up, that when I saw the difference between corporate philanthropy and like real altruistic philanthropy from individuals and stuff, it's just such an amazing contrast, and it's amazing to work for this organization. It's both rewarding and it's just enlightening. It really is, and educational.
I bet. And Sol, so tell me, what made you want to be involved with the Long Island Community Foundation?
Yeah, it was a very big intention of mine to work for the Long Island Community Foundation. I set my sights on it, and I did everything I could to get here because of the reputation of the organization. But my career started working for Governor Mario Cuomo. Then I spent 18 years in nonprofit direct service work, both in New York City and on Long Island, and then used the experience, both of those experiences, from the public sector and also the nonprofit sector, to just want to go into a field that would be able to address issues at a more regional level. So I got into philanthropy because I felt that philanthropy has a unique role of being able to use its platform to support to the nonprofits that are doing the work to address longstanding challenges impacting quality of life, and also partner with stakeholders like government to make sure that the strategies and interventions are the most impactful that they can be.
When you talk about the word stakeholder for our audience, is that someone who provides the money that's given out? Is that what you mean by the word stakeholder?
So that's a good question. As a community foundation, stakeholder for us is every entity, person that has some role in addressing issues that we're collectively trying to solve. So for me, it would be the nonprofit sector, number one. It would be donors that provide resources to our foundation and also to our community. It would be other foundations, partner foundations that help us address really thorny issues. I appreciate the fact that you think that we do big grant making, but in comparison to the growing needs of our region and the invisibility of the issues of Long Island, because so many people think that Long Island is just the Hamptons. We really rely on other foundation partners to help us address these issues and give give nonprofits the resources that they need to do the work, and also government partners, business partners. So we see stakeholders as all of Long Island that is working together to solve problems.
Now, you must be the most popular ladies on the block because you're giving out money. Everybody comes and says, "Can you donate? Can you do this?" You're giving the money out. Now, can you tell us some of the organizations that you deal with in terms of helping, or what would you call it, a donation to or a grant?
Sure. We look to support large organizations on Long Island that address issues regionally, like Family and Children's Association, or some of our hunger relieving organizations like Island Harvest, Long Island Cares, Family Service League. But we also really focus on those small organizations, community by community organizations that know their local ecosystem to help them build their capacity to be able to serve the needs of their local communities, such as Choice for All in Roosevelt, Sepa Mujer in Suffolk County, or the Uniondale Community Land Trust, which is addressing one of Long Island's biggest issues, the lack of affordable housing in Uniondale.
Well, so you really cover everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we have donors that also have their favorite charity. So that's the grant making side where the nonprofits have to compete and submit proposals to our grant making program. But then we also have those nonprofits that are getting money from our donors directly from their funds. Okay. And sometimes it's by the recommendation of us that says, they're like, oh, well, I'm looking to support a really good hunger organization. And then we'll send them in that direction. Or they'll say, I really love the arts, but I'm not really sure who to support. I don't want to support a theater. I want to support this. I want to support visual arts or whatever. So we will send them into that, the right direction. And then they get really, really excited about that because sometimes they don't even know these organizations exist. And that's through their funds. And then they get to put their name on it because their fund is their name, So that's usually what it is.
You're almost like you're filtering for them. So you're almost doing the research for them and saying, here, we know all of these organizations, we can tell you this is the one that you're looking for based on your criteria.
Yeah. And in both ways, we're always vetting the organization. So we're always making sure those organizations are the best on Long Island, anywhere,
Right.
actually. We vet them out, making sure that their governance is in check. I mean, who really looks at their board when
Yeah.
they're giving money to, on their own, But
Right.
we look at their board, making sure they're not related to each other or they're unrelated and they're there for the issue and their mission versus their own personal benefits,
Right.
So you have to be careful with that. And then their finances, making sure that the money that goes to them are going to the programs that they say that they're addressing.
Yeah, so you're really just doing the homework. And so that's a big reason that donors might come to you and
Yes.
say, hey, I'm going to give to you instead of trying to go out and find my own
Correct.
groups. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Now, that's really wonderful that you do the back check on them, because I was just thinking we hear and we see commercials on television and groups look very worthy. And then we find out that someone says, well, do you know only 3 cents out of every dollar goes to the cause, whatever it is, helping animals or injured soldiers or, whatever it might be. So you really check the background. So if someone is making a donation, they know that it's going to be what they want, or at least they know the conditions, and then the choice is up to them. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, sometimes, for the IRS to give a 501c3 tax status to these organizations, sometimes it's just looking at making sure that they file their 990s and they have a few board members. But we make sure that there's more than 4 board members that are unrelated. We make sure that, there's a large percentage going to programs versus going to administrative costs. I mean, nonprofits have those administrative costs.
Right.
We
Right.
understand that, but there's got to be, that give and take, and they have to make sure that people's money is being spent the way they intended to.
Stacey, I see a new show, Foundation Detectives. I can just see it starting. These
I
two
like
ladies,
that.
they look so
I
nice,
like that.
so nice and innocent, and they look so peaceful, and they're out there checking on people,
Yeah.
and probably walking around with big guns behind them and all that stuff. So I see a whole new
Security guards.
opportunity. We have to talk to them after the show.
I want to take a minute to remind our listeners that you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Stacy Raine here with Bill Horan, and we're learning about the Long Island Community Foundation today, an organization that works to improve the quality of life for all Long Islanders by connecting past, present, and future generations with other nonprofits on Long Island to make a healthy, equitable, and thriving community. Our guests today are Marie Smith, their Director of Donor Relations and Communications, and Sol Marie Alfonso Jones, their Program Director. So I have a question. You mentioned one of the biggest problems and or challenges on Long Island is affordable housing in Uniondale. But what are some of the other issues that you guys are really focused on right now?
The problem with affordable housing is an island-wide issue. Uniondale was an example of a solution, and one of the things that we do say is that people closest to the problems are the best solution makers. And so that's why we work with community groups so well. Other issues that we are addressing are hunger, right? Hunger is growing tremendously on Long Island, and it's just completely unacceptable. And so, we are trying to support efforts to address immediate needs, but also look at systemic long-term solutions. We are addressing racial inequities through our grant making. We have a long history of segregated development, which has resulted in lack of economic mobility and lack of access to opportunity for far too many of our neighbors. We are addressing youth mental health issues. We know that, COVID has certainly shined a spotlight on that issue. But the fact is that that's been a problem for our young people. Social media and, the reliance on technology has not been friendly for our young people, and it was just exacerbated during COVID. So we focus on grants to support better well-being for our young people. Environmental protections. We live on an island. We love our island. We have tremendous environmental assets. So we work to provide grants, or we give grants to organizations that are working to protect our beautiful environment and our waterways, maritime recreation. It's economic development opportunities as well, right? We have, again, we look at our region certainly has its deficits, but we have tremendous assets as well, and we have an opportunity to. We've always had innovative opportunities, workforce development opportunities, and so we try to make grants to organizations that are preparing our future workforce to be able to access the jobs that are emerging on Long Island. So those are some examples of.
I'm smiling,
issues.
and you're wondering why I'm smiling. I can see that. Look, I'm not trying to trap you, but you have great job security. There's always going to be problems and people who need, right? I mean, it's sad, but it will always be. And it's great that we have you out there doing this, and you're helping us, and a win-win for both sides. The people who need it and the donors are doing this are either getting a tax advantage or it's making their money work or they're feeling good about it. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us some of your great victories, something that you've done recently or maybe some recent grants that we would see perhaps every day here on Long Island?
So we support organizations. I said before that we are committed to immediate needs, but also long-term solutions. And we have supported. There are 3 examples that I can give you on grants that we've made that have where nonprofits have educated and mobilized Long Islanders to address issues that are harming our region and that have resulted in policy change. And for us, that is the most successful. So we supported Citizens Campaign for the Environment for a campaign to limit 1,4-dioxane, which is a contaminant that's found in household products. It was found also in our water at high levels. The EPA has identified it as a carcinogenic, and as a result of CCE's work, the New York State has now limited. I mean, it's pretty much banned the use of 1,4-dioxane in any of these cleaning products, and has, as a result of that, has changed manufacturers nationwide in terms of how they're producing these products. So that's huge.
Yes.
And then we had a real win with the Unmarked Burial Site Protection Act, where we supported the Shinnecock to organize Native American communities across New York State to pass this law that would stop to stop any activity that was happening on land where remains were found, and that was a practice that was ignored for a really long time and hurt many of the of the artifacts of these Native communities. And so we were really happy that act was actually passed last year. And then the final one is a Farm Laborers Fair Labor Practice Act, which finally we supported the Rural Migrant Ministries to do this campaign, which was many years in the making, but we supported them. And what wound up happening with this act being passed in 2019 is that finally farm laborers have benefits they should have had, that many of us, have, that all workers should have. So paid time off, unemployment benefits, overtime pay, et cetera.
Yeah.
So we're really proud of those wins.
You should be proud. That is, just listening to you list this, that is amazing work. Congratulations on all that you and your partners have done. I mean, that's just really incredible. I'm thankful to know there's people like you right here on Long Island really focused on these issues and making sure that there's people out there working to make a difference.
And those are the big issues.
Right.
Now we're looking at, when you start looking at like more of the microcosms of what our donors sometimes support, they support they'll open up a scholarship fund, and just want to kind of go over that really quick, because it's really important that we have hundreds of scholarships that go out to students based on, we have about 18 scholarships that have been opened by donors, and most of them are from, their area. So like they went to high school, whether it was, Three Village High School, and they'll open up a scholarship where students would go and apply, and they're private scholarships, but I just wanted to give one example. There was a private family foundation, the Knapp-Sweezy Foundation, and they had one thing missing from their giving portfolio, and that was to create a scholarship with Patchogue High School. And we did that with them, and they were so impressed with it. It was scholarships that were going to 10 students for Patchogue High School and 10 students to Patchogue, Medford, and Bellport High Schools. And so it was 20 students to get $20,000 to pay for a community college education. And that's all they really wanted. They wanted to see these kids go out and graduate college.
Yeah.
So when this was offered to the high schools, they couldn't believe it. In fact, they did not believe me that this was real. So it was not only the money for the tuition, but it was wraparound services that they wanted to provide, because it's just so much to pay for tuition, but it's also having a computer, being able to get to school, the food, the books, all the other
living expenses. I mean,
so this covered all of that, and so they were able to go to Suffolk Community College, and some of these kids did not even want to go to college because they couldn't afford it until the scholarship came around.
What a life-changing opportunity.
It was definitely life-changing for these kids. So and so those are the kind of things those are the stories that I love to get, love to have about donors, because they really, really care about our future and our students. And so that's one way that they're able to do that,
Right. I'm going to remind our listeners that you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Stacy Raine, here with Bill Horan, and today we're learning about the Long Island Community Foundation, an organization that works to improve the quality of life for all Long Islanders by connecting past, present, and future generations with other nonprofits on Long Island to make a healthy, equitable, and thriving community. Our guests today are Marie Smith, their Director of Donor Relations and Communications, and Sol Marie Alfonso Jones, their Program Director.
Ladies, let me ask you, because this sounds so invigorating, so wonderful for everybody, and I'm just thinking how you must feel great every night going to bed thinking, I did this, I helped this person, because we all want to help somebody, but sometimes we don't have that opportunity, but you make a real difference. If someone wants to get involved in the process and working with the Long Island Community Foundation, whether by giving money or either working with you or applying for a grant, can you give us kind of a quick and dirty overview of what they must do?
Yeah, so they could go on our website, www.licf.org, or they can just give us a call at the foundation, and we could talk to them about what they're interested in. First, it all starts with a conversation. So if this is a donor that wants to get involved, I could talk to them about all the different services that we have to offer. If it's a nonprofit, I send them over to Sol Marie, and she, talks to them about our guidelines, what we're looking to fund, and then wants to hear about their program and see if it's something that would fit.
And what would be the range of the grants? I mean, do they go from 1,000 to $1 million or 50,000 to 200? Is there a range we should be?
Yeah, our range is typically between $15,000 and $25,000. However, nothing is ever set in stone. And the other thing that I want to say is we have a board that makes our final grant making decisions. So, we include them in the process as well. But yes, 15 to 25,000. We have 3 grant cycles. We focus on 9 issue areas. Again, all found on the website. And but that doesn't mean that if some emergent situation happens in our region that we are going to be responsive to it. We did that. We have been the centralized hub for philanthropic response throughout. All of Long Island's terrible crises, from 9/11 to Superstorm Sandy to most
COVID.
Recently COVID. We realize that we have a responsibility to be able to be good stewards of our donors' legacies, and also to support our nonprofit community. And so we try to get the money out as quickly and efficiently as possible.
And it sounds like if someone feels, well, wait, I'm not a grant writer or I don't know this stuff, sounds like you'll help them.
100%.
Oh, yes.
All right. No, because I think sometimes people are shy, they're not experienced in this, and they're only doing it once. But you ladies obviously know what you're looking for, know if it'll meet the criteria, and if they talk to you directly, they can find out if that will hit the right buttons.
That is absolutely right. That's our job. We do that with our donors. We do that with our nonprofits.
Fantastic.
So I'm curious, do you guys work with volunteers or community members as part of your work? And if so, I would love to know how.
Well, we have donors, especially that want to look for volunteer opportunities, but because we have those relationships with the nonprofits, we usually send them their way. So we'll tell them what nonprofits are looking for those volunteers. I mean, we don't do like direct service in that respect where we're going to need volunteers, but we've had students come in and volunteer their time to help us with administrative stuff and just learn about a little bit about what we do.
Yeah.
And that's been, rewarding in that sense. But as far as volunteering, there are so many nonprofits that need volunteers and at certain times of the year. And if we do have that call, we'll reach out to donors who are interested and let them know who they are.
And if nonprofits are listening to this and they're like, wow, how do I get to be a part of this organization? What do they do?
They could call us.
Call?
We get calls all the time, every day. Whether it's just to talk about what an issue is that they want to address, or it's a donor that lost a loved one and they want to open up a memorial fund. It's $5,000 to open up a fund. It's not much money,
right.
Considering, people think, a philanthropist, you have to be a millionaire to be a philanthropist. You don't. And it's, we have funds as small as, $5,000 and as large as millions of dollars.
Right.
So it is a big gamut there. And, there's just people that really just want to do good. And if a nonprofit wants to get involved, we let them know these are our guidelines. If you're looking to start a nonprofit or you don't know if you want to start a nonprofit, we could try to tell you, well, maybe you want to start a fund if you want to do, philanthropy on your own before you start a nonprofit. There's a lot of different things that we can suggest.
Yeah.
And do you work through attorneys, accountants, financial people?
Yeah, I was just going to tell you that. So as part of one of those stakeholders is we work with professional advisors on a regular basis. They are our pipeline of, they bring us their clients and they know that they could trust us. And so they don't mind bringing us their clients. They trust us. And their clients come to us with all different sorts of, scenarios that they want to help them with. We do that. We also have professional advisor forums twice a year where we bring in tax specialists or estate planning specialists to do a speaking role for them and give a presentation. They get credits and stuff like that.
And just before we wrap up for our audience, where are you located? And give us that contact information, either the website or the phone number.
So we're located in Melville, 900 Walt Whitman Road, but we're actually moving soon. So we're moving to Comac, but everything is going to stay the same. The phone numbers will still be the same. So it's you could reach us at 631-991-8800.
Again, for our audience, the Long Island Community Foundation, and it's known as the LICF, right?
Right, LICF.
Easy enough to remember. Yep. First of all, we want to thank Marie Smith, the Director of Donor Relations and Communications, and Sol Marie Alfonso Jones, the Program Director of the Long Island Community Foundation. Thank you so much, Dave. This has been so instructive. I want to just shadow you one day and see all the interesting people that you're dealing with. So thanks so much for being with us.
Likewise.
Thank
Thank
you
you very much.
I'm Bill Horan. I'm here with Stacy Raine. We thank you for listening to this week's edition of My Hometown.
We like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC at ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.